Good evening, everyone. A 14-day-old baby girl is fighting for her life tonight after receiving the heart of an infant baboon.
It has never been done before, not successfully, and not on a patient so small.
Doctors praised the so far successful transplanting of a baboon heart into the body of a baby girl who was certain to die.
This little girl had a condition known as hypoplastic left heart syndrome, which is 100% fatal.
First found out that I was pregnant with Stephanie, I believe I was approximately 5 months pregnant. And 2 weeks before she was born, her dad and I split up. And the night before she was born, I started bleeding. And so I went into the hospital, and she was delivered, like, I believe it was around 3 hours later. And she was premature. And as soon as she was born, obviously they knew something was wrong because they wanted to whisper out of the room very quickly, and I asked them if I could see her first. And so they brought her back and let me see her for just a minute, and then they took her. So when I got down there, I never ever dreamed that I would be told that there was nothing that they could do to help her and that she was going to die. I remember being really upset, and I said, "You mean you can put a man on the moon, but there's nothing you can do to help her?" And he said no. And my options that were given to me were, you can leave her here and let her die, you can take her to Barstow Hospital and let her die, or you can take her home and let her die. I said, I really don't know if I can bring her home and let her die in the house. Am I going to be able to live there after she dies? You know, I was just so filled full of mixed emotions. I didn't know if I was coming or going. And so when I got to Barstow, I was like, I want to go to, I'll go stay in a motel until I can decide what I'm going to do. And I think it was Wednesday that I brought her back home, because I, you know, come to the conclusion that she had the right to die in her own home, you know, if she was going to die anywhere. And during the 2 days in the motel, it gave me time to really bond with her. And I had called my mom, and I said, "Mom, you really need to come out and see your granddaughter." I said, "She's so beautiful. You have to see her before she dies."
Doug Deming, one of the bright young neonatologists, got on the horn and he talked to Baby Fae's mother.
And he told me that there was a Dr. Bailey who had been out of town, and he had done some research doing transplantation.
If you would be interested, come on back down and I'll have you talk to Bailey, who's been spearheading this effort.
One of my friends, her mom was a Christian, and she believed in laying on hands for healing. And so she laid hands on Stephanie and prayed for her. And I felt very peaceful about it. I'd never experienced anything like that before. And then we bundled Stephanie up and took her down to Loma Linda to meet with Dr. Bailey. I had to go find her dad to see if he wanted to go with me. And he couldn't come with me. So he said, well, why don't you just bring a tape recorder and you can tape it and then I'll listen to it.
We've done our research. We've done it faithfully, I think. We've hired well into the issue. We try to look at it from every angle. So we're sort of at this stage now where we're kind of it's at a stage where it has to be tried. In addition to what's listed here, we've also developed some new experience more recently in climates that is really transplants and different baboons to the highly experimental.
I wondered if the doctor was a mad scientist. I'm sure I had the same reaction as anybody else who first heard it. But when you get right down to it, it's just an organ. And it's a life-saving organ.
And so we went over everything and tried to be pretty objective about it. That it was highly experimental and we weren't sure where it was headed. But without it, their baby was going to die.
At that time, I gave Dr. Bailey the okay to begin tests to see if she was going to be compatible with any of the baboons.
Well, Baby Fae now has been living with the transplanted heart of a baboon for a full week, and every day of life for her is medical history.
Baby Fae is back on life support systems this evening as her tiny body continues to show signs of rejecting her baboon heart.
Today we grieve the loss of this precious life, which could have been an absolute loss to her loved ones. Her unique place in our memories will derive from what she and her parents have done to give rise to a ray of hope for the babies to come.
The night that Stephanie died, I asked Dr. Bailey to not let this experience be wasted and to keep going forward with it. And he did.